What's up, Nerf Nation? This is Normatico here, and we are traveling back in time about 9 years to 2015 to go ahead and explore a blaster that was released under the Air Warriors line by Buzz Bee Toys. It is a blaster that has spawned various memes and a competition of sorts when it comes to the lever action blaster community between the Slingfire and, of course, I'm talking about the Air Warriors Ultra-Tek Sentinel. Also known as the Ultra Rapid Tech, the Sentinel is a clip-fed blaster system. Of course, clip-fed means magazine-fed. That's when they still called them clips unintentionally. Now, this actual blaster, it is, in many people's opinions, far superior to the actual Slingfire because of the fact that you have much better stock performance. We are actually going to test this one. This is, as you can see, still new in box. It is difficult to find, and when you find them used, they cost upwards of $70, unless you're very lucky, and you can go to a thrift store and find them. This one actually comes to me courtesy of Jonathon Cillian over in Arizona, part of Arizona Blaster Mods. Of those things, check him out. You can actually find him on eBay, and he actually has sold me a couple of different blasters. This one literally was given to me for free. He said, Normatico, you're a friend. You know what? I got one here for you that's been in my storage. Have it. So he sent it to me. And you know what? I'm happy for it because I didn't want to spend $70 on a 9-year-old blaster, even if it was new in box. So we're actually going to go ahead and switch views, open this up, and see what is inside. Alright, so now one of the things I will tell you that straight off the bat, it actually uses some paper twine to actually hold the blaster inside the box itself, and it is an open box, so what you see is what you get. Let's go ahead and actually use an X-Acto knife here to cut this open here. Is it just one that holds the blaster in? Oh, no, here's another one. We have our actual blaster itself. Of course, much like Nerf, they only have one side that's pretty, one side that has a sticker. So this actually is begging to be painted. You know what? Given the memes, I might paint this red and yellow because of the socialist Sentinel Republic, so to speak. I believe that's what the meme said. And well, we'll take a look at that here in a second. Let's set this to the side and see what else is in this box. Of course, we have our darts, and we have our magazine right here. Where did my cutting tool go? We have an 8-round magazine. Of course, stickers with instructions on how to load the darts, because it's not always self-explanatory, and how to load the actual magazine into the blaster. And of course our darts, which are suction cup darts. These are more than likely trash garbage. Okay. So, of course, these are the darts. They are suction cup with a green tip, gray body. They can't be worse than elite darts. Famous last words. So, that being said, I don't expect them to go that great because of the aerodynamics of a suction-tipped dart. However, maybe if we were to actually load up standard elite darts in here, it might launch more than 72 feet. We will test that out on the range later on. But let's go ahead and actually get this loaded up and talk more about the actual blaster itself. So, of course, loading it up, in order to actually load up this magazine, you do have to make sure that the lever is primed. You push that dart in, and then you pull back on the lever, much like the Slingfire, and it is ready to fire. So, let's see what else is in here. That is pretty much it. So, let's take a look at this blaster here. Of course, that's, oh, that feels pretty, okay, I can already feel that this spring is tougher than the Slingfire. And there we go. It is now primed and ready to go. Yep, that is stronger than a sling fire. Alrighty then. And of course, when you are ready to eject the magazine, you prime it again. Push this on this button. Magazine goes. Now, whether or not this is actually a gravity drop, let's take a look. It is not a gravity drop. So you do actually have to pull on the magazine itself, which is actually kind of nice because that way, if you accidentally push on this button, it's not just going to lose a magazine. So I cannot see a jam door, but it looks like this is actually just clipped on here. Oh no, that is a jam door. It is, no, it's not. I wonder why they would do that. All right, that's just clipped on there. So those things clip together. This should make painting a breeze. Because I can tell that this is a separate piece of plastic. That's a separate piece of plastic. The barrel's obviously a separate piece. That's probably a separate piece. And that is a separate piece. So yes, this should be easy to paint. And this back here is obviously a second piece as well. This is begging to be painted. This is definitely begging to be painted. Of course, you know, if you wanted to open this up, you can. You have the several screw ports here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 screws. That is not very many, unless there's some that are hidden. So I am curious to see what this is like on the inside. We're not going to actually do a video about that right now, because again, this is actually just to test the performance. But so far, I'm digging the feel of this. I will say that aesthetically, the Sling Fire looks better, but this one I feel might actually perform better according to what everyone said. So, yeah. Let's see what it feels like in my hands. Okay, so in my hands, I will tell you that this blaster does feel a little bit awkward. So, unfortunately, the pretty side is the left side, as opposed to what is normally the pretty side on most of the Hasbro blasters, which is the right side. This one actually has nothing on it. So, yeah. Sorry, you're gonna have to look at the ugly side. That's just the way I hold the blasters normally. So, I'll tell you that it actually does feel kind of comfortable in my hands, at least so far. Okay, so this is where they have some gripping here. So I guess that's how you fire it. That's a little awkward. I know that the handlebar itself actually feels pretty comfortable. The stock could be a little bit longer because you do kind of have to chicken wing with this. But again, it is made for children, not for adults necessarily. So I guess that's not too bad. But yeah, priming it, it does feel like it actually takes a little bit more effort to prime this one than the Sling Fire, which is actually kind of nice. I'll be honest with you, I might switch to using a different kind of magazine with this because the 8 rounds just doesn't do it for me. Not to do a cross product promotion here, but here is an 18-round drum magazine that we can actually easily just fit up in there. And, you know, yeah, you might do that. So let's actually go and take this to the chronograph real fast, see how well it goes, and then we're going to do an accuracy test and a distance test afterwards. We are back for the accuracy test now. We are indoors. We are about 25 feet away from the target itself with the Buzz Bee Sentinel. We have 8 rounds here. We're going to actually shoot them down towards that basket like normal. And we're going to see how accurate this blaster really is. It's small. So 6 out of 8, not bad. They all went relatively straight, all within about a couple of inches of the target where I was aiming at, which was actually at the 25. The 2 that were off target completely, even so, they were still just a couple of inches above the basket, and there was just 1 that went far right that actually hit the right door. So all in all, I'd say pretty accurate. The darts are much better than elite darts, and they fly about as fast according to the chronograph. So now to see if this actually will go up to the 72 feet. To be honest with you, the chronograph says that it will. It will exceed that and then some. We're actually out at the outdoor range. There's a break in the April showers that bring the May flowers here in Ohio. And I'm actually going to test the Ultra-Tek Sentinel by Buzz Bee and see how far it can go. The box does say it can go up to 72 feet. Based on the chronograph readings that we got out of this thing, I think we should be able to go farther than that. We're going to do 2 shots, 1 angled, 1 straight, and go from there. Let me go ahead and actually measure this distance out. All right, so with the provided darts, we got 63 feet with a straight shot, 75 closer to 76, 77 feet with an angled shot. I'm actually going to switch out to some standard elite darts and see how far they can go using the Sentinel. All right, as luck would have it, I actually not only have elite darts, but I also have Adventure Force waffle tip darts. So we're going to start with the waffle tips, and then we're going to go with the elites. Had a little bit of a feeding failure there. Let's try this again. That's what I get from using a drum magazine from Goodwill. All right, let's measure that distance. We'll be back. All right, so both the elite and the waffle tip dart got about 58 to 60 feet with the straight shot. Angled shot, that is where the waffle tip dart got 83 feet. The elite dart actually caught some air and hit up to 110 feet. So this blaster definitely does beat and exceed the threshold of 72 feet as stated on the box. It is kind of a liar, not gonna lie, but in a good way. Up next, my final thoughts regarding the Buzz Bee Sentinel. Okay, and we are back with my final thoughts regarding the Buzz Bee Sentinel, or the Ultra-Tek Rapid Tech whatever. So, you know what? I'll be honest with you, I enjoy this blaster. For the lever actions, stock, this is probably my favorite of the lever action blasters that I've used. Of course, that is stock. I will say that stock performance from this blaster is much better than a Slingfire, and it feels much more solid when it comes to the actual priming mechanism itself. This bar actually is a form of metal that is coated, which is kind of nice because that was one of my issues with the original unmodded Slingfire, was the plastic used on the lever. It felt very flimsy, like you would be able to break it. From what I can tell, I haven't taken this one apart, but it seems like the gears might have some sort of metal in there, so they could probably handle an upgraded spring. Though I'll be honest with you, with stock numbers of hitting around 90 FPS, this is pretty decent to use in a backyard battle. The distance-wise that we got out of this, we got 72 feet at least of distance, at least 55 to 60 feet when it came to doing a straight shot. So that is pretty decent for backyard play and for indoor play. Now, what I will tell you though, is that if you wanted to modify this thing, you can actually get more power out of this by putting a brass breech. I don't know if they actually sell any kits for this. I have not seen anything that has been put out there, so to speak, like by AK Blaster Mods, but they do have those for the Slingfire. But I will tell you, again, I want to reiterate, stock lever action, this is probably my favorite one out of the ones that you can actually buy at a store that is not, say, online, like the slabs. So, yeah, this is actually pretty fun. Who is going to enjoy this? I will tell you, anyone who actually likes a kinetic style trigger, or I should say priming handle like that, they're going to love this. Anyone who actually wants to live that fantasy of being an Old West cowboy with a lever action rifle, they're going to enjoy this. Is it for 8 and up? Absolutely. Would I give it to somebody who's under 8 years old? I don't know, because of how finicky lever action blasters can be. Even though this is metal, the rest of this is plastic, and it feels like it could easily break if mistreated. Now, again, I do want to stress though, this is a fun blaster. Like this is really good. I would dare say that this is actually iconic. When you make memes about a blaster, how can you not call it an icon? Now, I say that this is my favorite of the lever action blasters that you find stock. However, it is not my favorite lever action blaster. Aesthetically, not the most pleasing thing, let's be honest with you. I actually do have another blaster right now in front of me. Let me go ahead and actually pull this out to show you which one is my personal favorite right now. It is modified, but of course, it is a Slingfire. This Slingfire actually has been heavily modified. Not only do we have the internal metal gears mechanism, but I actually have a metal bolt sled and the short breech, the short dart breech system by Worker. This is actually capable of hitting about 150 FPS with a 9 kilogram spring. With a 12 kilogram spring, of course, priming it becomes much more difficult, and you do stress out the rods of the gears. I wouldn't recommend doing that, but if you do, you can expect numbers in the 170 FPS range. That is one of those things that I experimented with that, and I actually broke one of the metal aluminum rods. I should say it bent, that came with the original gear kit, which I kind of did something to get that replaced. So, but yeah, this is definitely my favorite. As you can see, aesthetically much more pleasing. It looks much more, I don't want to say realistic, but less of a kid's toy and more something that you would actually bring into a Nerf battle. But we're not talking about this one. I might do a short about this later on. Where would you take a Sentinel? Would I take it into a competition at a park against higher powered blasters? Probably not. Would I use it for HVZ? You know what? Why not? Have fun. This could be a great primary. Because of the fact that it's mag-fed, you know what? That is something that you can actually keep extra magazines or use a drum magazine on and have at you. Make sure if you use a drum magazine, do not do what I did, and that is use a drum magazine that you have not fixed, that you happen to pick up secondhand at a Goodwill, where you don't know if it's actually going to be feeding properly because of the springs. But other than that, you know, you should be good with a drum magazine. Probably grab a 35 round drum magazine from a Raider, or if you are one of those lucky few, like I am, who has one of the 50 round drum mags from the Titan, you could actually slap that bad boy on here, and it might look ridiculous, but people will know that you come ready for action. So I do want to actually thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Again, if you actually like my content, feel free to like and subscribe, hit that bell notification. icon. That way you can actually get notified whenever I upload new content and post new things in the community page. I do like to interact with any of my subscribers and anyone actually does comment. So if you have any concerns or if you have any recommendations for blasters for me to review, feel free to go ahead and do so. Until next time, keep on blasting.